Welcome to the Site-65 podcast. I'm your host, Robert Tomato Peterson. With me, as always, senior researcher Keegan. Keegan, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Wonderful, wonderful. We have a couple new guests on the podcast this week. We have executive researcher Daniel Silk. Sorry,
Hello.
I kind of slurred my words there. I'm a little
That's fine,
drunk.
don't worry about it.
Daniel, welcome to the show. It's great to have you. How long have you been executive researcher?
For around like 2-3 months now.
Okay. So you've been here a while, so you've seen
For a
some
while.
stuff.
I've seen it.
We'll get into that more in a bit. But we also have an E11 with us. Mr. Anderson,
Hello.
welcome.
Hello.
It's great to have you here. It's nice to see E11 and research, interacting, having a good time together. And I'm also noticing a little bit of a discrepancy in the number of people in this call right now. Even though we're all sitting together, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and while 4 of us are sitting here, the other guy appears to have hacked into our comms. I'm assuming this is the CI again?
If it was a CI, you'd probably have known by now.
You don't sound familiar. Care to identify yourself?
Good evening, Dr. Robert. Good evening, Specialist Anderson, Executive Research Daniel, and Senior Research Keegan. I am GOC Lieutenant General Finder. I'm not so much hacked into your frequency as I am just perusing what exists within your site's network, so good to meet you all.
God damn it, I thought our NordVPN sponsor went through and this wasn't gonna happen again. Fuck! Okay.
We forgot to re-up.
God damn it.
My bad.
Site administration told us to re-up and we would be fine. So, I don't know what's going on. Okay, well, Mr. GOC, as with the CI, you're free to listen. You're free to be here. I can't stop you, obviously. I don't have the technology to do so. If you want to contribute, go ahead and contribute. And we'll circle back to you in a little bit. But for now, I want to get to the executive researcher who joined us, Mr. Daniel Silk. So, Daniel, as is sort of customary when we have new people on the podcast, we like to have them sort of introduce themselves, tell the other foundation sites a little bit about them, how they got into the foundation. Would you care to explain to us how you managed to get into the foundation?
Sure, why not? So, a long time ago, I don't really remember when, but like one day I was just like, someone just like came to me and asking me for like, to follow them. And I was on some papers. And I was explained that, I was asked to be a chemist, I believe, at some place. I didn't get a lot of answers for it. But I just agreed on the job because, it paid a lot. So, I don't really remember how it was, but just some car driving to so in the middle of nothing, and then I just see some like big facility, look like army base. I'm not really sure, and that's how really went there. They explained to me that I need to mix some stuff, and like just get my job. They were like I was given a mentor to help me like do the job, to like everything works and that. And 1 to 3 months, I understood everything, and I transferred to research. I asked like my supervisor to transfer to research, and they accepted me. So working from ranks, here I am.
Oh, okay. Well, we're very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. E11 Specialist Anderson, would you care to also kind of give yourself an introduction, explain how you ended up in the foundation?
Basically, I was a military officer in the U.S. Armed Forces. Uh, One day while I was home with my family, I was dragged into a car by intruders, and I woke up in an interrogation room, something that looked like it, and some guys from SCP Foundation, they named themselves that, asked me to join them as a E11 private. I've been a private for around 2 months now, as specialist, but I've been promoted like 2 months ago. I joined the foundation 1 year ago. My brother, being apparently a senior researcher around here, Dr. J. Johnson, he died sadly, uh, like maybe 4 months ago. I have never seen his body, sadly, and this is how I got here.
Okay. Well, we're very happy to have you on the podcast as well, and I love to see the interaction between E11 and research mainly, just because we're so different in terms of what we do as branches of the foundation. But it's nice for you to take the time to come sit down with us at the lunch table and talk to us and explain yourself. It's very nice. Now, I guess since he's here, Mr. GOC Lieutenant, I don't know if this is something you can just talk about, but would you like to explain how you ended up in the GOC, or is that too classified? I'm not entirely sure how the GOC works over there. I just know that you're here and people might be interested.
Well, with being an executive member of the GOC, my story isn't that redacted. I initially started out in the outskirts of France alongside the UN. Simple stuff, humanitarian aid, helping out here and there, just doing my job. I was approached by a GOC representative at the time after a witness encounter with SCP-173 in France, and they recruited me because they saw potential. Not very much to it. I've been in the GOC for a little over 3 years now, but most of it has been with, slightly reclassified information, so I won't go into depth with that.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. I've actually, this is a story I wanted to tell. I think I actually contributed to a GOC raid on the Foundation at one point.
A raid?
Yes, let me explain. So, when I'm not working in the Foundation, I moonlight as an Uber driver in the town of Pinewood. And, I hop in my Prius and I drive around. Yes, I drive a Prius. Don't laugh at me, please.
I was about to.
Fair enough. So I hop in my Prius, I turn on the app, and it immediately lights up, and it says you need to go to this like building in the south side of Pinewood. And I go there, and I'm picking up a dude. His name is just redacted on the app. Like it's just the letters are changing, and I can't really see what his name is. But I think, okay, maybe the app's just glitching. I pull up, and these 4 army dudes get into my Prius. They don't talk. They don't say anything. One guy just points straight ahead, and I say, okay. I guess I'm following where they need to go because they have guns, so I'm scared. So I start driving, and I notice that the app is leading me to the front of the Foundation's base. And I'm like, okay, maybe these guys are just MTF who got lost. I pull up to the front of the base, and the guy in the front seat turns to me and he goes, "Thanks." And he hands me $10,000 in cash. And I go, ooh, a tip, lovely. This is great. I'm going to be able to pay my mortgage. They get out and immediately start firing on the base. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So, I'm going to get out of here. So I kind of duck and speed off as they're firing on the base. And I make a call to Darby, our, deputy head of research, and he goes, and I go, hey, is everything okay in the Foundation? He goes, yeah, we're in the breach shelter right now. There's a raid going on. And I go, oh, okay, click. And I hung up. So I think I may have accidentally contributed to a raid on the base.
I cannot confirm nor deny the allegations of a GOC raid on Site-65, but I have my suspicions on who you actually escorted.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to being around military people because, the MTF, the E11, the NU7, I'm so used to seeing that like when these guys got in with guns, I just assumed they were MTF. So I didn't expect them to fire, and thankfully, my car didn't get any bullets in it. I got out of there as fast as I can, but I had to ditch the car. Like, it's buried now, just because I was terrified. I'm like, oh god, what if they trace it back to me? So, I don't drive the Prius anymore. I drive a Ford F-150.
I think they wouldn't it was a complete accident, but yeah, they definitely still be like really pissed at you.
Yeah. But this was about a year ago, and nothing's happened since, so I feel fine telling the story.
A year ago.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. But it was it was scary. I was afraid. It appears that the E11 specialist had to step away for a bit. He stepped away while I was telling the story. That's fine. He's probably very busy.
Yeah.
So another thing we like to do when we have new people on the podcast is have them tell sort of stories about their time in the Foundation. So, executive researcher Daniel, what have you been working on recently in the Foundation?
Well, you see, I was actually trying to tame 939.
Really?
But, yeah, but the thing is, 939 is it's intelligent. It doesn't get food that easily. So I've been working on taming it, but it doesn't work. Now I'm just like hopeless for ideas how to tame it, and I'm planning on giving up on it. Either way.
Okay. Well, it's good that you tried at least. I mean, any way we can try to tame and contain these SCPs more, especially something as dangerous as 939, is always a good idea. And I commend you for trying to do so, even though it's an extremely dangerous thing to do. So good job on that.
Thank you.
I believe
Now-
your tests may have actually been successful. If you look on your terminal, I'll be sending a image from our time in Site-65. There was a tamed 939 instance running around the
Oh
facility.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Ketchup.
Yes.
We called him Ketchup?
Yeah, his name is Ketchup.
Oh man.
Well,
He's just a baby 939 who just kind of roams the site. He's kind of like 999 in a way. He's very friendly, and he just kind of wanders the site.
so
And
maybe
the little guy.
all those D classes weren't a waste.
No, I
Oh.
don't think so. Ketchup is very friendly. He's just like a baby 939. Almost said 999 there. Yeah, he's very cool.
Well,
Yeah, he's relatively new to the site. He's been around maybe 4 or 5 months. He's typically kept in heavy, just because, even though he is like a little baby 939, he still is technically a 939. So we're not sure when he's going to grow up and snap and become violent. But for now, Ketchup's a pretty cool little doggo to play with.
Well, I'm not trying to be a party people about Ketchup, but just be careful around it because you don't want to end up like a dickhead that's missing two legs.
I agree. Mr. GOC, Lieutenant, I know I don't know how much of this you can give out, but what's something crazy you've seen in your days as is the GOC?
Oh, that is definitely a selection. Give me a moment.
Yep,
It
take your
would
time.
it would likely have to be the time that your type greens broke onto surface.
Oh, jeez.
I vaguely remember. This is all very fuzzy because that incident was something else. The type green was very smart in how it acted. I don't know how or with what might, it proceeded to lob a LAV we had deployed to an attempt to fight it and splattered 3 of my personnel. And I may or may not have fired a 40mm round directly into its torso. Never have I before seen a Type Green vaporize like that with an explosive device.
Well, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Those things are pretty dangerous. Even I don't fully understand them. I've been here since they got transferred to the site.
They are something, that is for sure.
Yeah. So I wanna ask you guys a question. And I'm curious about the responses to this. When people outside of the Foundation, because obviously our families don't know what we do. Our friends don't know what we do outside the Foundation. Our some just you walk into a general store, you walk into your local gas station, like the gas station in Pinewood, and you're asked, "Hey, what do you do in that military base over there?" What do you tell people?
Never really had like a moment where I actually have, someone has asked me that, but in a situation where they have, I'd probably say we test like different military devices or
Okay.
explosives and stuff like that, or planes, all that shit. Honestly, they'll probably just eat it right up. So
Yeah. Well, see, what I tell people is I don't even go into that where like testing things. I just tell people like, yeah, I just document stuff. I'm just a data analysis guy.
yeah,
We bring in, data from around the country and just document it, make sure everything's good. Because I don't want to give the impression that we're testing, you know, any weapons or even, containing SCPs there. That's just personally what I say. I'm always
yeah.
curious to what people think. Okay. So, Keegan, I'm curious about something. The
What's up?
last time we spoke, you had mentioned a 076-2 and 999 cross test. How's that been going?
I've been taking a little break, so I haven't been working on it a lot. I'm probably gonna work on it next week or so. You know.
Understandable. Yeah, I know we only recorded another episode like 2 days ago, so I didn't expect you to have, a full answer to that.
Yeah.
Daniel, what have you been working on recently? I think I've asked you this. Did I already ask you this?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going insane. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, it's fine. When you work
I go a
with,
little stir crazy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, another thing that I like to do on this podcast is discuss a SCP. We've talked about SCP-999. We've talked about SCP-1123. And this week I want to talk about everyone's favorite plague doctor, SCP-049.
Ah.
So, for those who are not familiar, who are maybe on a different site and are not familiar with SCP-049, 049 is a plague doctor from, we assume, France or Italy from the time of the Great Plague. And he is hell-bent on curing what he deems the pestilence. Now, we have no idea what this pestilence is because 049 refuses to give any sort of description about the pestilence. He just claims that he has to cure it, and only he knows what determines it to be in a human being. However, SCP-049 is deadly, and when he touches someone or attempts to cure them, they die for a moment. And 049 will take out his bag of tools, of surgical tools, perform surgery on the cadavers, pump them full of weird liquids and chemicals, and eventually they rise from the dead and become zombies. This is deemed as them being cured by SCP-049, and those zombies proceed to wreak havoc across the Foundation. And he's kept on site at Site-65, and other researchers listening to this in other sites can request him to be transferred if they wish. Because, for the most part, if you don't have the pestilence in you, at least as far as he deems it, he's very friendly to talk to. He speaks in a soft French accent. His main diet consists of wine and hard cheeses, even though he has no discernible mouth in which he could drink or eat in, but we don't really question that. And his face is that of a plague doctor's mask, where it has the long nose, long beak, and it's attached to his face. It is his face. And I've ran a test recently where I brought 682 to 049. I did this maybe about a month ago before I took my LOA. We brought 682 to 049 and we had them interact. And 682 just berated 049, berated him, talked down to him, and made 049 question his entire existence. 049 had sort of a crisis, if you would, and became extremely depressed. Now, we worked very hard to get 049 therapy, and he seems to be doing a lot better. But it's incredible to me that 049 could become so depressed after being spoken to by 682. So I'm curious what the other researchers think about such things transpiring.
Well, sorry, I kind of phased out there for a second. What'd you say?
I said, I'm kind of curious what other people think about the interaction between 682 and 049.
I thought, honestly, because they've never really interacted before, not even in breaches, which I thought that was really funny, but in a more well, not actually funny way.
More lucky.
But knowing 682, it's not too obvious that he'd do that. I mean, we never really seen him interact, but
Yeah,
it is unfortunate.
I was
It
just
is.
surprised at how hard 049 took it.
Yeah,
Like, we've told him before we don't understand his pestilence thing and we think it's all in his head, and he's just
yeah,
brushed it off as, nothing. But 682 says it, and 049 goes full emo.
yeah.
682 has a unique way with words, you could say.
Yeah, he's very blunt and to the point.
The GOC,
Have you had-
the GOC recently had an interaction with 682 where we managed to have him inside of our base. It's
I
very,
was just about to ask.
it was very interesting to see how 682 reacted to something that could potentially destroy him. He was scared. I think
Really?
that was the first time I'd actually ever seen 682 scared. We had
I-
introduced 682 to a new entity we had captured, UTE 9343 Black Buster. It's a very unique entity. It had taken place in one of our own, and it is, as a Type Black designation is with the GOC, a demigod. 9343 managed to scare KTE 682 in such a manner that 682 was afraid to leave our lab, even cuffed and taken back to the Foundation. He was begging to be taken away from this UTE. It's a very interesting reaction.
Wow. I'm actually very intrigued to know more about this, but unfortunately, I don't think the Foundation is going to allow that, at least at this moment. I can request that more information be given, and let's see, we're approaching the end of our lunch break here. Mr. Lieutenant, would you be willing to show up on another episode at some point and potentially talk about this more?
Perhaps when time allows and my schedule isn't as full.
Understandable. Completely understandable. I guess we'll slowly wind down from here. Daniel, thank you very much for joining on this episode. It's always nice to have new people join, and we're very happy to have you. Is there anything you want to say in regards to the research department, or anything really to the people listening?
Yes. Whenever you do a document, and you type the SP and everything on it, don't leave the document in D-block, the D-block board. Now, I've seen the researcher who has done it, alright. I told him 3 times not to put it there because, it would cause a lot of issues. But, the guy never listened to it, so, just don't put your documents in D-block. Just ask someone to, help you upload them. And that's all.
Yes, I agree. Keegan, anything you'd like to say?
Not really. No.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there because it's about the end of our lunch break. This has been the Site-65 podcast. I've been your host, Robert Tomato Peterson, along with executive researcher Daniel, GOC Lieutenant General Finder, and senior researcher Keegan. Thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful day.